All right, folks, buckle up because today we're making a showstopper, a Seitan Fillet Steak Wellington that will make even the most skeptical meat eater do a double take. This is a special occasion dish, labor of love, but trust me, every second you spend making it is worth it. We're taking flaky golden puff pastry, a rich and savory Seitan fillet, and a mushroom medley that brings it all together in one glorious bite. So let's get into it. We're starting with a deeply flavorful broth. Get a pot of water onto a rolling boil, then in goes the vegetable broth. Red wine, because we're fancy like that, miso paste, garlic, quartered onion, a couple of cloves, a bay leaf, black pepper, and this one's a game changer, mushroom seasoning. Give that a stir and let it come to a simmer. The goal? To coat every ounce of flavor from those aromatics. Once it's nice and fragrant, take it off the heat and set it aside. This will be our secret weapon for later. Now, let's build that deep umami packed seitan filling. Get a food processor ready because we love efficiency, and throw in the red onion and some garlic. This saves us from chopping, and frankly, it just feels powerful. Blitz it until finely chopped, then toss it into a pan with a little olive oil and a pinch of salt. The salt will help break down the onion, drawing out its natural sweetness. Let that cook until soft and fragrant. Meanwhile, soak some dried porcini mushrooms in hot water. This is going to add an earthy, meaty depth to our mix. Once they've softened, throw them into the food processor along with our sauteed onions. Now for the good stuff. More red wine, black beans, chopped beetroot for that deep steak-like color, miso paste, tomato paste, love this stuff, it adds such richness, apple cider vinegar, tamari or soy sauce, and a sneaky little umami bomb. Marmite or Vegemite, either will work fine here. It might sound weird, but trust me, it adds that deep, meaty complexity. Finally goes in our spice mixture: dried sage, oregano, cloves, cayenne pepper, rosemary, and tarragon. Give that a blitz until smooth, no big chunks, just a luscious, flavorful puree. All right, now it's time to bring it all together. Time to add our dry ingredients: vital wheat gluten and chickpea flour. This is where the magic happens. We're forming the structure of our seitan steak. Toss it into a bowl with a bit of nutritional yeast for that cheesy depth, then mix it in with our wet mixture. Now, here's the trick. You want to knead this for a while, or let it run in your food processor. The more you knead it, the more stretchy and meaty the seitan becomes. Knead it until it forms a firm, elastic dough. Once it's ready, shape it into a log. I'm using parchment paper, but cheesecloth works too if you're planning to soak it overnight, or you're going to let it simmer in the broth because you want to eat it sooner. Either's fine. But either way, you're going to want to make sure that it's wrapped tightly. So here, we're going to let it sit overnight. We're going to wrap it tightly in aluminum foil, which is going to help it hold its shape while cooking. And we're going to pop it into a preheated oven at 375 degrees for about an hour. While our seitan is baking, let's make our mushroom puree. Grab your cremini mushrooms, though any mushrooms will work, and toss them into the food processor with garlic and pulse them until they're finely chopped. You don't want it mushy, just small enough to spread easily. You're going to saute this in a hot pan with olive oil and a pinch of salt. The key here is to cook out as much liquid as possible. Excess moisture is the enemy of a crispy Wellington. Once it's cooked down, throw in some spinach for a pop of color and extra flavor. We just need this to wilt a little bit, so we'll throw on the lid to get it wilted. Then we're going to remove it from the heat and let it cool. For best results, I like to chill mine overnight, but if you're impatient and want to eat right away, just let it cool completely before using. Once our seitan has finished baking, it should be firm and well shaped. It's time to marinate it. We're going to place it into a container and pour our rich, flavorful broth over top. I'm going to soak mine in the fridge overnight to really deepen the flavor, but again, if you're short on time, you can wrap it in cheesecloth and simmer it in your broth for about an hour instead. The next day, it's time for the fun part, to wrap it all up. We're going to roll out our vegan puff pastry on a floured surface. I'm doing a half portion here, but you can go all in if you want for a bigger Wellington. We're going to brush the seitan with English mustard, which is going to add a sharpness that cuts through the richness beautifully. Spread the mushroom puree on top, making sure it's evenly distributed. Then gently roll the pastry around the seitan, tucking in the edges nice and tight. For that golden flaky crust, we need a glaze. We're going to mix a little bit of almond milk, extra virgin olive oil, agave nectar, and a pinch of sea salt. Brush that all over the pastry, ensuring an even coat. Next, we're gonna pop it onto a metal pan. And here's a pro tip. You're gonna use the bottom rack to make sure the underside crisps up properly. Into the oven at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for about 30 minutes or until gloriously golden brown. Meanwhile, let's turn that marinating broth into an incredible gravy. We don't want to waste anything here. Strain out any solids, then simmer the liquid down with a cornstarch slurry to thicken it up. Season it to taste, but honestly, it should already be packed with flavor. This is the kind of gravy that makes you want to smother everything you eat in it. After about 30 minutes, the Wellington is ready to come out of the oven, looking like an absolute masterpiece. Golden, flaky, and crispy. Slice it into thick steak-like portions. The inside, juicy, meaty, packed with deep umami richness. Pair it with a simple green salad tossed with lemon juice and olive oil, and for the ultimate indulgence, a side of sweet potato gratin. And there you have it, an epic Seitan Fillet Steak Wellington, the kind of dish that turns heads at the dinner table. Flaky pastry, rich umami-packed filling, and that beautiful mushroom mixture all coming together in one glorious bite. Try it out and let me know what you think in the comments. And if you're loving these recipes, don't forget to subscribe for more. And up next, the sweet potato gratin that I serve with this, you're going to want to stick around for that one. It's coming up on the next video. We'll see you over there.